What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything you need to know about and what's happening here in our country and around the world here on a daily basis. Happy New Year's, and let me know here what your plans are for the New Year's. Do you have any New Year's resolutions? Do you just want to make 2023 better than 2022 was and hope that inflation goes down here? I'll keep you up to date here with what's going on here. Let's jump right in here. We got a lot to talk about here. You're not going to believe some of the things I'm going to tell you here. Thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. Here we go. Also in this video, I will have a trivia question for you. You could win cash directly from me here. Yeah, so we've been doing this for a while. We're doing this here again in this video and in future upcoming videos. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon so you don't miss out on new videos. And you could win cash directly from me. So make sure to watch this video all the way through. And yeah, you'll get to see what happens. If you think your New Year's Eve or New Year's Day was off to a good or bad start, well, Russia launches major New Year's Eve missile strike against Ukraine. Maybe not the type of fireworks that they were hoping for. You can see the destruction here. Yeah, unbelievable just what they have been doing here. This is a hotel in the capital city of Kyiv. A hotel, guys, not a military structure. Yeah, Ukrainians are preparing to celebrate the new year as best they could were hit by another wave of Russian missile attacks on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. The majority of targets struck appeared to be civilian structures yet again, including the now uninhabitable hotel. The attack wounded at least 28 across the country and killed one, the Kyiv mayor, Vitaly Klitschko, said. Unbelievable. According to Ukraine's commander-in-chief, 20 cruise missiles were fired from ground-based launchers from Russia and the strategic bombers flying above the Caspian Sea. 12 of the missiles were shot down, 6 alone above the skies of Kyiv. However, an unknown number struck inside Ukraine. Wow. Yahoo News visited the impact sites. Wow, that's pretty ballsy. In one case, a missile scored a near direct hit on the Alpha Vito Hotel in the central Perskivy district. In another, a parking lot in the middle of a civilian housing estate. Yeah, it just kind of shows you the brutality of what Russia's doing, just shooting it right at civilians. Right at civilians, and this is why you just can't believe anything that Russia says. They're just firing it randomly at innocent people. Whole sections of the Alpha Vito building collapsed, and rescue workers combed through the rubble searching for survivors. A local resident here says, "My dogs were terrified by the noise, but now they're fine." As he clears out glass from his broken window on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. You can see the picture here. Poor man. Unbelievable. Imagine what it would be like living there. And honestly, this could be going on for quite a while. And meanwhile, Russia's kind of allies, a Chinese military jet came within 20 feet of an American military jet and had to take evasive maneuvers here just a day ago, the U.S. military says. And, these American military jets cost like $100 million. This was over international waters. So both of the jets were, within their right to be there. But, the American jet apparently was just kind of cruising along. And all of a sudden, this Chinese jet just kind of came in there and just came out of nowhere. Came out of nowhere and was like, "Well, hello there. What are you doing there?" And it was really kind of hostile, maneuver. Like, what are you doing here? Why are you even here? Almost could have kind of provoked a war type of situation, because this is the type of stuff that happens. And it's like, if you come after a fighter jet, these fighter pilots could react as it's a hostile situation. And if you come within 20 feet of a fighter jet and you're a fighter jet as well, they could retaliate. I mean, they could see it as a hostile situation. Like, why are you coming that close to a fighter jet and you're a fighter jet yourself? Just to say hi? So the question here is like, thankfully, the US fighter jet kept its cool, and so did the other fighter jet. But if I mean, you replay this situation with two other pilots and one pilot collides, or the other pilot pulls the trigger and shoots, then we have a major news story. And what if one nation wants to retaliate, saying, hey, we just lost $100 million jet, we just lost a pilot, we're not very happy. What are the repercussions? Wars have been started for less. So yeah, it's just playing with fire, to say the least. So again, both were in international waters. Both were allowed to be there, but it's just kind of like provoking, poking the bear there. On and of course, China will say it was us, we'll say it was them. It's just not the kind of thing that needs to be happening. Yeah. Also, you can see here a lot of people concerned about this highly immune evasive new Omicron variant named XBB.1.5 is quickly becoming dominant in the US as it doubles weekly. Yeah, and this is kind of crazy here. I'll show you the details. This new Omicron variant XBB.1.5, it kind of sounds like one of those Star Wars characters, one of those little droids roaming around, right? Variant is rapidly becoming dominant in the US because it is highly immune evasive and appears more effective at binding to cells than related subvariants, scientists say. XBB.1.5 now represents about 41% of new cases nationwide, nearly doubling in prevalence over the past week, according to data published Friday by the CDC and Prevention. The subvariant more than doubled as a share of cases every week through December 24th in the past week. It nearly doubled from 21.7% prevalence. Scientists and public health officials have been closely monitoring this subvariant family for months because the strains have many mutations that could render the vaccines, including the Omicron boosters, less effective and cause even more breakthrough infections. Wow. This variant was first identified in India in August. It quickly became dominant there, as well as in Singapore. And it has evolved into a family of subvariants, including these different, code names. A virologist at Johns Hopkins University said it is different from its family members because it has an additional mutation that makes it bind better to cells. Saying, quote, the virus needs to bind tightly to cells to be more efficient at getting in, and that could help the virus be a little bit more efficient at infecting people. And, I'll tell you, this virus is definitely it's still going around. My brother, his fiance, and a couple of, her daughter and stuff like that, they weren't able to come over to our house for Christmas because they caught it. Yeah, so they caught it right before Christmas, and I'll give you an update on them. But yeah, they weren't able to come over for Christmas, and she's still testing positive right now. She kind of got it pretty bad, like my wife caught it when we went to Disney. My wife was in bed for like 7 days. That was so. My wife's birthday was on November 11th, and when my wife caught it, she was in bed for like 7 or 8 days straight, and she had it pretty bad. I had it pretty decently bad too, not quite as bad as my wife, but I was feeling it. I actually I still have a little bit of a cough still to this day, like 2 months later. Just a little tiny little bit of a cough, just a very little bit. I get just a little bit of a just here like 2 months later, believe it or not. It's crazy how the kind of some of these symptoms linger on. It's just a little tiny bit of it, but it's weird how these like symptoms like linger on. I don't think I've ever said I've had a cold or a virus that had symptoms linger on like 2 months later. I don't think I would call it like long COVID, but it's somewhat like that. But I could see how some other people would say, yeah, we have symptoms that kind of linger on for a long time. But my brother's fiance kind of dealing with the same type of thing. She's been sick for a while. My brother has a good immune system, kind of like me, where he wasn't as sick. And my parents and my wife's parents kind of actually did a little bit better with it. I think that they just didn't quite catch it as much as we did. But the thing about this virus is that everybody kind of fights it off differently. Now, it seems like their daughter fought it off real easily. She had it once before, and our son Julian fought it off very easily because he's young. Seems like the younger you are, the easier you fight it off, but not necessarily because I'm 41, gonna be 42. My wife's a couple years younger than me, and I don't want to age my wife, but she's definitely younger than me. Um, I don't know. It seems like if you're young, it seems like you could fight it off in general kind of easier. But on the other hand, my mom caught it and she's like, in her 70s. I don't want to age her either. But she caught it and it was like nothing to her. It was like nothing to her. She didn't even think she had it. She didn't even think she had it. She literally fought me over and over, even though she tested like 3 times and all 3 tests were positive. She didn't want to believe them. She didn't want to believe that the tests were real because you hear on the media that like if you catch it you're like going to be fighting for your life. That's not always the case. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So sometimes you might catch it and it might be nothing. I've seen some comments from some people in the comment section saying, Jimmy, I had it 3 times. The first time I had it, it wasn't bad. The third time I had it, it wasn't bad. But the second time I had it, and it was really bad. So that just kind of shows you that like everybody's experience with this virus is different. And it also goes to show you that you can catch it more than once. A lot of people don't understand that. And a lot of people don't kind of grasp that the vaccine doesn't mean you won't get it. And the easiest way to kind of relate that is similar to a flu vaccine, a flu shot. If you get a flu shot, that doesn't mean you're never going to catch the flu. It means you're going to you can still catch the flu. The flu is a virus, the flu virus. It just means that if you catch the flu, it'll be a lesser version of it, and you kind of already have some antibodies in your body to it. Okay. That's just kind of how these viruses tend to work, if that kind of makes sense. Okay. Also, in my opinion, it kind of the flu shot, the flu virus, is kind of similar in this particular case to like this COVID virus and the cold virus. Even the White House says we're like they don't think it's going to be going away. When we think about the cold virus and the flu virus and the COVID virus, they all seem kind of similar in that they've been around for a long time. They can't eradicate them, and they could be around forever. You know, where there's other kind of vaccines where like we've been able to eradicate some of them, although we are seeing kind of like measles outbreaks and stuff right now because some people haven't gotten those vaccines, and now we're seeing some pop-ups, some of those pop up here again. So because some people don't want to get those, it's a different story. But we'll see. You guys can let me know your thoughts here on that. So, with that being said, let's do our next New Year's Eve what's in the box question. So, we did one here yesterday for New Year's Eve, or today would be for New Year's Day. So, today's question is, how much does the New Year's ball, the Times Square ball, weigh? If you're close to it, if you know the exact number, by all means, you'll get the answer correct. If you're close to the answer, you'll also be correct. How much does the Times Square ball weigh? Please leave the comment or your answer down below. If you guess correctly, you'll be entered into the pool of people who guess correctly. And from there, we have a random comment picker. Pick a few people to be the correct winners. And from there, if you're picked, I will heart your comments and tell you are a winner, and you'll win $50 from us. Yeah, for each winner. Yeah, so yeah, that's today's question. And let me mark this down. And 123. How many people are gonna write down the wrong year for like several days? Yeah, I always do that. Yeah, it's such a change to get your mind right, for a few days here. So yeah. So I always give people like a few days to kind of answer it, and something like that, and we go a few days afterwards and pick the winners, and then generally in a few days I'll announce the winners here as well. We'll be doing contests like this here going into 2023. So make sure you're subscribed down below to our YouTube channel. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to click the bell icon after you subscribe so you get notifications when we go live. And thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And also, here was a really good video on what's going to happen to some people in less than 30 days. That was a really good video here as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. And Happy New Year.